Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in on this Wednesday, April the 20th. Nice to have you with us. It was the X-Man who may have saved the series. Unlikely hero, maybe, but we mentioned yesterday, same time slot, pretty close to the same time, what adjustments would be made in this playoff series between the Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was pretty clear Steven Adams, who has been a terrific player and will probably help the Grizzlies if there are other series to be helped with. But he, because of his particular skill set in this matchup, was not a good matchup. And Taylor Jenkins recognized that. You knew he was going to play more of Brandon Clark, but he didn't play Xavier Tillman, senior, by the way, in the very first game. Last night, foul trouble in what might have been the longest quarter in the history of the game. I do think it was flirting with it. It was like 42 minutes?
Yeah, 45 minutes is the way I clocked it at, but probably more accurately, it was 42.
I think it was 42. Crazy. Do you know how many free throws there were in that first quarter?
I don't remember. It was
32. 32 free throws in the first quarter. What total after that was 60. So more than half of the free throws for the entire game in the longest first quarter ever that ended up with the Grizzlies slightly on top, 33-32. A far cry from the 41 they gave up in the first quarter in game number one. No, this was big because of the depth, because of the unlikely hero, Xavier Tillman, because of that bench scoring 60 points. The defense, in particular, on the Timberwolves' big three, all three of them were under their average. Dig in, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a long series. Thursday in Minneapolis at the Target Center.
I was so disappointed in the Timberwolves' effort last night, honestly. And I know it's just one game, and, we can't, especially in the playoffs, it's very easy to get wrapped up in one game. But you look back at the 4 regular season matchups, all of those matchups were very competitive. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the scores were, but they were great games. You knew right away just how good a matchup this was going to be.
Go look at the first game. I believe the first game was a total blowout. Minnesota beat them, and the Grizzlies, this was in November, and the Grizzlies had a team meeting after the game.
That's even better then, because that means that the Timberwolves certainly haven't been disappointing in this series thus far, and we know how good the Grizzlies are. And I just was very, like I mentioned to you a minute ago, in the fourth quarter, not going for rebounds at all. This is the playoffs, and how are you just going to give up it was certainly given up, and certainly Karl-Anthony Towns' effort was terrible in the second half. I was very disappointed by the Timberwolves last night.
Well, he had foul trouble the whole time. He was stymied. I kind of believe this, based on what his comments were after the game. They felt like they'd already accomplished what they wanted to on this first leg of this series. They'd won that first game. They stole home court advantage. They knew the Grizzlies were going to come out, and now you're going to go back home. And if you're the Timberwolves, you win those 2 games, and you're in really good position to win the series. If the split, home court advantage goes right back to Memphis. And I think Memphis delivered a message. Look, it was a tough start again in that crazy first quarter, all those free throws. The reason Tillman gets in the game is because Adams gets 2 early fouls. Adams was going to try his best to still be a factor in this game. He knew he was late on switches in the first game. He knew he had to have more than, what did he end up with, 3 rebounds in that game with all the minutes that he played? He knew he had to do something, and so he decided, what do I do best against these guys? I'm about as strong as anybody in the league. I'll be physical. And he got caught twice, early foul trouble. He only played 2 minutes and 50 seconds. He was never asked to play again. In the second half, they started Kyle Anderson in his place, which surprised me too because I thought Tillman deserved to be the guy that started the second half. But it worked out for Taylor Jenkins because they went on a 17-1, a 4 run to start the third quarter, which was the game. That was the ball game right there, that run. And that is, as you said, I thought the white towel was raised by Chris Finch and the rest of the Timberwolves.
Especially with the starters on the court too. It was strange to see, certainly. But I think you mentioned it best yesterday. You talked about playing Tillman. I never even would have dreamed that they're basically, it turns out being Brandon Clark and Tillman, the way they play are so similar. Obviously, Brandon Clark has some things that Tillman doesn't have and vice versa. But for all intents and purposes, the role they play on the court is the exact same. You basically got that role for 48 minutes last night. I think they both played like 20 minutes. It was a great game plan by Taylor Jenkins. I was very impressed last night. A lot of people were questioning whether or not Taylor Jenkins could get it done in the playoffs too, and I think he showed that his genius certainly carries over from the regular season to the playoffs.
So Clark played 20 minutes 51 seconds, and Tillman played 20 minutes 45 seconds. So you're right on the money. Almost 42 minutes from that position. Obviously, the athleticism Clark brings and a little more offensive punch, although Tillman was pretty good last night. And then Tillman's toughness. There is no doubt that Tillman came in and he said, I can't be specific to you, because he was asked, and frankly, I was going to ask the question, what are you thinking about? You come into that game in that position. You were told at the practice before that because of Adams' inability in the first game, there could be a chance that you're going to get some playing time. Now, it was definitely dictated by the early foul trouble that he got a chance. But I think Taylor Jenkins had in the back of his mind he was going to have to use him in this series. And he told him to get ready and then give all the credit in the world to the big man. He absolutely was ready. But he was talking about how every team has tendencies. And what you've got to do is you've got to make them uncomfortable. And maybe that is matching the physicality. I want to tell you something. Karl Anthony Towns gets away with being really physical. And, okay, that's sort of the way the playoffs are, and that's what happens when you are an emerging star in this league. You get the benefit of being the bully if you can do it. And he can do it. So here's Tillman who says, okay, I'm going to match your physicality. That's what I thought. And he did a great job. I think he frustrated Karl Anthony Towns, and then Towns picked up fouls. And then, really, beginning of the fourth quarter, the first 2 or 3 minutes after that, Minnesota and Finch said, well, we'll save it for Thursday. And I don't blame him. This was typical, for me, typical of what you get from the Grizzlies. So, 29 assists on 44 field goals made. This team is unselfish. They will make the extra pass. Incredible defense. So they hold the Timberwolves to 39% field goal.
30 makes. That is so low.
Do you know this was the first time the Timberwolves, who play with the fastest pace,
One of the best offenses.
and one of the best offenses in the league, do you know the last time they didn't score 100 points?
September.
2 months ago.
Really?
2 months ago, they probably were playing the third game in 4 days, and they decided to bench half the team, and they didn't get 100 points in a playoff game last night. After they scored 41 in the first quarter in game one, they don't get to 100 in 4 quarters in this one. That is defense. Remember the Grizzlies were out-rebounded by 11 in the first game? Not in this one. 48-40. They were even with threes. I want to say the Timberwolves, who shoot a lot of threes, averaged about 17 threes in this series. Would they have they had 17 in the first game. Maybe it's 15 threes. So they averaged a lot more threes than Memphis makes. And Memphis did a good job of stopping that perimeter offense. And they absolutely were even with them. They both hit 11 threes. Ja had nearly a triple-double.
One away.
I really thought they would keep him in. He said in the postgame he was not aware until he was like heading toward the bench. They said, you only need one more for a triple-double. He said, we got this game won. And he had already been kneed in the thigh.
Yeah, it was tough. That leg, that hurts.
It's
going to be sore today, I'm telling you.
I got to tell you, it sort of happened in front of where I was, but I was kind of blocked out. I never saw it. I saw him go down, and I saw him get up limping, and, then he went straight to the locker room. You're going, oh, no. But,
it was that sharp knee right in the thigh.
Yeah, and he said in game one he got the same thing in the other leg. So that's the way they are. They are physical. I'm telling you. And Patrick Beverly just says he's a cheap shot guy. There's just no way around it.
No.
If he can do it, he's going to be a cheap shot. Now, I think the Grizzlies are trying to exploit that because I saw one play where Beverly was on a switch with Triple J, and he went like that. He waved his hand at the guy. If you were watching on Facebook, you would have seen that. And like Jaren Jackson Jr. went to his face like he got hit. I don't think he got hit. He was like flopping with his fist,
gamesmanship,
with his hands. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
You mentioned rebounds, though, and I had to check last night because I was like, man, they're dominating this game on the glass. And I looked at 48-40, and that's obviously still a good discrepancy, but you really tells the stories. If you look at offensive rebounds, the Timberwolves got 4 think about all the shots they missed, got 4 offensive rebounds. The Grizzlies got 14 offensive rebounds.
Right.
That is you cannot get beat like that in the playoffs.
Well,
I mean, that's unacceptable.
And the Grizzlies outscored them in second chance points because of that, 19-8. They beat them by 11 in that category.
Unbelievable. That's a test that really tells a story in my mind of the way the game went and just how much more effort the Grizzlies gave in that game.
Well, I will say this about their effort, particularly early in the game when it was still a game. One area where Memphis always dominates is transition points, fast break points, getting down the court quickly. It's hard to do that against the Timberwolves. Fast break points in this game, 12-11. They won by 1 point because these guys really do. They work hard. They work well together. They are a good defensive team. But last night, it was the Grizz were too much, and they made the right adjustments in this series, taking away those big 3 players. So far, D'Angelo Russell, who was brilliant in their play-in game, he's done nothing. This was not a great game for Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, 7 of 16, 4 of 10 from 3. He'll take that. But he had 5 turnovers in the game.
Yeah, don't get me started on their offense. I mean, they were jacking up terrible shots, throwing the ball out of bounds. It was unbelievable. But I think a testament to how good the defense has been on D'Angelo Russell this series. Even in the fourth quarter last night, the Grizzlies are up by 25. They're still face guarding Russell and denying him the ball. They're not going to let him see any good shots go in. Don't let him get hot even for a second of one quarter. Unbelievable job.
Well, that's the first time in about the last 5 or 6 games that I've watched Anthony Edwards that he kind of looked like he did at Georgia, where he was not a dominating factor. And Karl Anthony Towns is going to get his, but Tillman really, really changed things. And I've got to point this out because it was brought up by Taylor Jenkins, and he was asked how he approaches that sort of thing. He basically went to to Steven Adams at halftime and said, I'm starting Kyle Anderson in your spot in the second half. I got to go with this tandem of Tillman and Brandon Clark, and now Kyle Anderson. We're going to go a little small to start here. I don't think you're going to play the rest of this game. And he said, Coach, you don't have to say anything to me. If we win, I don't care. I mean, that is incredible professionalism. Here's a guy who's been around for a long time. I think he understands not a good matchup for him. He can be helpful maybe against Golden State in the next series if Golden State wins their series with Denver. And that the winner of this one gets the winner of that one. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up being a factor in that series, if indeed Memphis plays in that series. But his professionalism was outstanding. And again, Taylor Jenkins made the right move. I thought, why wouldn't you start Tillman in the second half or Brandon Clark? Why are you going with a small lineup here? And they get off to a 17-4 start. Yeah, that's pretty good. Triple J had a big second half. He was incredibly goofy, almost immature in his post-game press conference. But Xavier Tillman was better when describing him because they have a good, tight relationship. They've known each other a long time. And Tillman basically said, once that they sort of had that lead, it sort of freed, he used the word freed, Triple J, when Jackson just plays and doesn't think too much, overthink it, or put pressure on himself, he's unstoppable. He hit a couple of threes. He looked like himself. This was a good game for Zaire Williams. He hit a three. I love him lobbing and dunking. I don't necessarily love his three-point shooting. He did hit one in this game. I'd rather see him go underneath, but he got one. He got 13 in his very first playoff win. And now we go to Minnesota. It'll be interesting to see. The Grizzlies were 8.5-point favorites in the first game. Of course, they lost. They were 6.5-point favorites in this one, and they had a 32-point lead on their way to this 28-point victory. What will they be in Minneapolis tomorrow?
If I had to guess, I think they'll be 2.5-point favorites. But I'm checking actually right now, seeing if there's anything posted. But I think like 2.5-point favorites, maybe 3.5-point favorites. What do you think?
They've not won in the Target Center. I'm not sure they'll be the favorite. If they are, I would say it'll be a 1 to 2 point margin. I don't think it would be much more than that. What have you got?
1.5-point favorites on the road.
How about that? Yeah. So they're going to have to win one now.
Oh, absolutely. Which you think, I mean, you know, I know it's 2 30-point games, but certainly the Grizzlies, well, you know, they weren't really competitive in that first game, but I still think the Grizzlies were far more competitive in their blowout loss than the Timberwolves were in their blowout loss. Gives me a little bit of confidence going to Minnesota after that game last night.
By the way, Jarvis Greer off. He's en route to Minneapolis. So Pete Pranica will join us at 10:45, the television voice of the Grizzlies. So, and I understand was NBA TV blacked out here yesterday, so you had to watch Pete.
It depends.
And Brevin.
I think if you had one of the services that doesn't get Bally, at least with me, I was still able to watch NBA TV on that. But if I went to like Xfinity, then it was blacked out. So it depends on what you got.
You know, it's really interesting. I've had Comcast, I don't know how many years. And it goes back to Time Warner, and I used to work for Time Warner, so I've always been loyal to whatever the cable system is. But if you don't have Time Warner or Xfinity now, Comcast, you've got to pay for Bally's. It's a premium channel, like on DirecTV or Dish.
I don't know about on the satellite services, but on one of the streaming services, Fubo, that's really big for sports, it is. You have to pay a little bit extra, fork over a little extra.
I think if you're not on Comcast, I'm almost certain that you have to pay sort of like a premium channel price. I don't know what it is. Somebody text us on the AutoZone text line. Get in the zone, AutoZone 901-360-8255. But I think you have to pay an extra price for the Bally Regional Sports. And because this was on NBA TV, this would not have happened with ESPN or TNT, that it actually, NBA TV was blacked out in this market. So if you didn't have Bally's or didn't pay that price and you don't have Comcast, you couldn't watch the game last night.
On all these services, the Fubo, Dish, DirecTV, it's $12 a month to get regional sports package.
$12 a month?
It's a regional sports package.
Oh, my gosh. For that reason alone, I'm glad that I have Comcast. That's crazy. $12 a month?
In New York, it's 20. Wow. Because you got all the MSN or MSG, all the other ones.
That is nuts. I'm going to tell you that. Just a couple things because we're already getting late here. We got golf picks coming your way with Mickey Barker and Johnny Lyon. And, boy, were we bad last week. We'll go over that here in just a second. New Orleans shocks Phoenix last night. If you didn't stay up late to see this, the Pelicans got a whole bunch out of Ingram. He was dominant in the fourth quarter. They win 125-114 in Phoenix. And so that series is now tied 1-1, and Devin Booker had a hamstring injury. I have no idea what the status of Booker will be for the rest of the series. I still think Phoenix wins, even if Booker doesn't play.
There's still no update on him, but 31 points in 24 minutes is still unbelievable.
That is. How about Jimmy Butler? 45 for Miami. And they take a 2-love lead on Atlanta, 115-105. So that's two zip there. But The series now goes to Atlanta. And I always have, and I'm sincere about this, you never really make a decision on a series until the home team loses. So, like in the Grizzlies series, if you're a Minnesota fan, you can just say, hey, mission accomplished. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, Memphis has to win at the Target Center, and they haven't won there this year. I think they're going to win this series. I think they made a statement yesterday. I don't know if that rattled the Wolves, but Memphis played like Memphis, sharing the ball, playing great defense, staying even with them on threes. There was a lot of good. And how about Xavier Tillman? I mean, that bench, that's what does it. 60 bench points. That's where the Grizzlies are better than the Timberwolves. They have more depth. This portion of the show is brought to you by Grind City's Poppy's Pills. You know the Pilsner that is so darn good. So many people are talking about it. If you haven't tried this yet, you can get it all over town. And so always at your favorite liquor store or spirit shop, like my friend Eddie Connors, right there at the corner of Poplar and St. Nick. This is light, crisp. It is a refreshing Pilsner. Everybody says best enjoyed ice cold. It's available in 6-packs, 15-packs. If you haven't tried it, I don't know what you're waiting for. Somebody said, I wish they had a 39-pack. It is terrific. It is Memphis. It is the Pilsner that everybody's talking about from Grind City Brewing. It's Poppy's Pills. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and a reminder, if you're looking for a new career path, go see my friends at I-40 and Whidden Road. There are a lot of opportunities for you in sales, swimming pool area, hot tub, patio furniture. They're looking for chemical salesperson. They're looking for cashiers. They're looking for associates, for a technician with service. If you like outside and you like a little bit of labor, they are putting together crews for above-ground pool installations. It's a great place. A new career path for you, maybe a new lifestyle because they are paying well. It's Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's time to talk just a little bit of golf before we're joined by Pete Pranica at the back end of the hour. This is Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for a new job? Contact Pro Resume. Sending out hundreds of resumes. No response? Contact Pro Resume. Tired of working for peanuts? Contact Pro Resume. Pro Resume's the resume expert in the Mid-South. Go to ProResume.biz or call 685-1950. The fastest way to a new job.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, fellas. It's Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to make you aware of something. Did you know that April is Diamond Month? Well, it is. And if your wife or your girlfriend or maybe your daughter has a birthday in April, diamond is her birthstone. If your wedding anniversary is in April, then your wife surely deserves a diamond. Whatever the occasion, a small gift-wrapped box containing beautiful diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers will always hit a home run and make you a hero in her eyes. A ring or a pendant, earrings or bracelet. You just can't go wrong with a piece of diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers. It'll be a gift that she'll treasure for many years. For 5 decades, Russell Brothers has been helping Memphis men find the very best in diamond jewelry for their sweethearts. In yellow or white gold, in platinum or sterling, you cannot go wrong with a gift of exquisite diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
You heard the announcer, man. Our title sponsor, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. You know there are the laws of supply and demand. Some dealerships are taking advantage of that. Not Homer. Not Chris True, the GM of Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Craft Road, the first exit in Mississippi, and Highway 78. That's Lamar in Memphis. About 10 minutes away, that's all. Turn left there, and you'll see why they've set the standard for the way car business should be done. You'll never pay more than sticker price. That's Chris True's mantra. You never pay more than sticker price on new cars, and they're getting them in all the time at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Johnny Lyon, Mickey Barker, they're going to join us. I believe Mickey Barker was the only one who made money last week. Johnny Lyon, nada. J-Mo, nada. Wolo, in last place. Mired in last place. Nada. So I'm still stuck with $154,000. Mickey moving up with $402,000. J-Mo's got a little over $1 million. And Johnny Lyon in the lead because of the early success at the Masters with $2.8 million. I just get how many guys made the did we have anybody making the cut last week?
Only Mickey did. He had Webb Simpson make the cut, and Maverick McNeely finished in the top, tied for 26, so almost in the top 25.
Maverick McNeely. Wow, that was sheer brilliance, Mickey Barker. Sheer brilliance.
Pure luck, Dave.
So the order will be me, Mickey, J-Mo, and Johnny, which I think has been the order the whole time, and I've yet to do anything with it. We've got the Zurich Classic, which I don't know if people know. So the format is this way. The first and third rounds, they play 4-ball, which basically is best ball. Two guys go out, they're teams, and they take the best ball from those two guys. The next thing is the quickest way to end a friendship. It's called foursomes, but it's really also called alternate ball. In other words, on the even holes, I'll tee off. On the odd holes, my partner will tee off. And then if I hit the first shot on the tee, the next guy hits the second shot until the ball is holed. I have always thought that may be the toughest format in all of golf. Johnny Lyon, you concur?
I love match play, and I think this format is very interesting and fun to watch. So I think it's going to be a great tournament.
Mickey, do you like the fact that the PGA, like, they try different things? They have the Stableford method with one tournament a year, and they do this team thing one time a year. Good for the game. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I really think it helps the Americans a little bit because it gives them some extra time to work on the team format for the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. So, yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
There is a team out here, too, that could be Scotty Scheffler. Let's face it. He made, I think, his coming out party was the Ryder Cup, where the decision was made to bring this guy on. And, he has been absolutely brilliant. And he's playing in this thing again. So he had a week off, almost 2 weeks after Augusta, and now he rests up, and he's teaming with Ryan Palmer in this thing, who has won with other partners, including John Rahm. And there's no pressure on Scotty Scheffler. Is Scotty Scheffler going to continue, guys, this run this year? Will he win a couple of more tournaments? I mean, he's already made more money in one 50-day period than Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Arnold Palmer combined for their careers. I mean, it's crazy.
I really think he could possibly make $20 million this year. I mean, he's already almost halfway there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see him winning a couple more times. But what about Ryan Palmer? I mean, his partners have been Jordan Spieth, John Rahm twice, and now Scotty Scheffler. So he's never picked a partner outside the top 5 in the world rankings at the time. So he knows how to pick a good partner.
Johnny, I mentioned this on Monday with Ted Butler. You can't say Jordan Spieth is just lucky because he's won 13 events, and early in his career he won 3 majors. That's already enough to be in the Hall of Fame. But he's won 2 tournaments with hole-outs from a sand trap. He was so fortunate at Harbour Town with everybody falling apart, and then a bad life for Patrick Cantlay in the sand trap. Is he the most fortunate guy with multiple wins and multiple majors ever on the PGA Tour?
I don't know about that, but I totally enjoyed watching him win. His family ran out there, the new baby. I think he was. A lot of people didn't think he was going to win it. Patrick Cantlay, was coming on strong, and Jordan really surprised a lot of people, I believe, the way he finished that tournament. And I liked it a lot. And I think he's going to be around a long, long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's only, 28 did we determine? I think that's right. He's got another 20 years or more with the way they stay fit now to enhance his legacy. But my goodness, he is one thing for sure. He is a great sand trap player, and he proved it again in this thing at Harbour Town. All right, let's make some picks, and again, I've given you the order. So I am going to go with that first team. I'm going to go with Palmer, who's won, and with Scotty Scheffler, who's the hottest guy on the planet right now. That's my first team.
I don't think you can go wrong there. I think that would be everybody's first pick. But I will pick Victor Hovland and Colin Morikawa.
I don't blame you for that.
You're taking them right out of my mouth there. I'm going to take Sam Burns and Billy Horschel as my first team there.
Great pick. Great pick.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. They were third in the power rankings, and they have absolutely a shot. Johnny Lyon, you're last, but you're our leader by far. So give us your wisdom.
I'm going with some foreigners. Going with Shane Lowry and Ian Poulter.
Wow, Lowry
Shane's on fire. He's only a couple of strokes. He's only a couple of strokes away from winning the Masters. He's playing really well, I think, and got a good partner.
Well, you've opened the door for me to take a couple of foreigners for my second pick, and because it's a team thing, we're not going with 50 or below in the World Golf Rankings. So my pick will be Cam Smith, the hot Cam Smith, trying to recover from what happened at Augusta and Rays Creek in number 12. And Mark Leishman. That combination, I feel really good about that. Mickey?
Dave, I'm glad you picked them. It keeps me from having to pick them because I wanted to pick 2 more Americans. So now that they're off the board, I'm going to take Cantlay and Schauffele.
I knew you would. That team scares me. I love Xander Schauffele, and Cantlay is as hot as anybody.
Exactly.
That's a really good team as well. I'm going to take, this is a little bit of a flyer, I feel like, Bubba Watson and Harold Varner III. I feel like between the two of them, they can make up for each other's bogeys by just making a bunch of birdies.
Who's the first one on that one?
Bubba Watson.
Oh, it's Bubba.
And Harold Varner III.
Bubba, that is a weird coupling.
It is, isn't it?
I wonder how they got that. How did they get that together? I mean, they come from different backgrounds, that's for sure.
One's really tall, one's really short.
Yeah, one hits the ball a mile. You know
right.
what?
They're pretty good friends. They play a lot of practice rounds together. They're pretty close. And Harold beat Bubba on the last hole over in Saudi this year. So
Right.
they're close friends.
You know, Harold Varner's a great story. I really wish him the best. You look at him; he's not an imposing guy. He doesn't have great length. He's a pretty good iron player. He's been a clutch putter. I mean, I don't think I've seen the guy miss a short putt this year. If it's 4 or 5 feet, he's magic. Do you guys see a chance this year or next year where Harold Varner steps forth and wins a major? Has he got enough game? Either of you guys.
I don't think
so,
we'll
but
see
maybe.
him win a major. I think we'll see him win a regular event, not
Yeah.
a major.
All right, well, he was in contention at Augusta for a while.
It's that Sunday. It's the Sunday scaries.
Well, once you get past those, if you win one tournament, you might get the last. All right, Johnny, last pick of the day. Which is your final team?
I'm going with Will Zalatoris and
Yeah.
Davis Riley.
I love that
Really,
pick.
yeah.
I thought about that. And when you're, picking last, you've got to dig deep. But I don't know much.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Davis Riley. Tell me about him. I know about Zalatoris, maybe the smallest waist in all of pro sports.
Well, I was just looking at the odds on who's going to win, and it said it's 5-2. So
you
thought
go
that
in
was
there.
pretty good.
Okay.
Riley finished second at the Valspar Championship.
Okay.
That's his best
Davis
finish
Riley
this year.
has one of the best swings on tour. A lot of the other guys out on tour marvel at his golf swing. And younger guy, good friends with Justin Thomas, really, really good player.
All right. Well, you cleared that up for us, and I'm Will Zalatoris. To me, has all the potential in the world. He plays great at Augusta, but he's got to play great other places. I don't know when that comes, but I got a feeling it will come sometime soon. I mean, it's amazing the depth now of the PGA Tour. There's literally 30, 40 guys that could win every time they tee it up. No doubt about it.
It is. It's crazy how good they are out there and how low the scores are on very difficult golf courses.
All right, last thing for you guys and really for Mickey. Everybody asks me, when is Overton going to be ready? They're all just can't wait to see what this golf course is going to be like. And I confessed to you last week, I took a drive back there, and it looks like it's going to be ready this summer. I'm really happy about that. What is your hopeful opening date?
Well, we hope to open right around the last week in June or 1st of July. We know for certain that we will be open July 11th. That is the first round of the Overton Park Junior Open.
Oh, the OPO. All right.
The OPO, sponsored by Nike. That will be, we know for certain that we will be open on the 11th. And so everything is geared up toward that.
Including the clubhouse? Because I know you're working hard
No.
on that right now.
Right. The clubhouse will not be open at that time. There's some substantial renovations that are going on to it. And so we'll probably be operating out of a smaller portable unit of some type at that point. But we'll definitely be ready to go for the Overton Park Junior.
Man, I can't wait to see that because, you're not going to be able to get a tee time for the first 2 months. So just keep that in mind. All right, so here are the picks for the team event at TPC, Louisiana. I got Scheffler and Palmer and Smith and Leishman. Mickey's got Hovland and Mirakawa, Schauffele and Cantlay. J-Mo's got Burns and Horschel and Bubba and Varner. And Johnny's got Lowry and Poulter and Zalatoris and Riley. And good luck to everybody. We'll do this again next Wednesday. Thank you so much for participating.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah,
Good
thank
to
you,
talk to
Wolo.
Very
Have
good.
to say happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Yes, today.
Yeah, you still got that putter I gave you last year.
I do. It's got the Cubs grip. I'm keeping that, and I'm putting quite well, frankly. I'm never giving that up. That's my new thing. That Wilson, what is it, 8202? Is that what they
8802.
8802.
Cubby grip.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Thank you, Johnny. Be good.
Good deal, Wolo. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Got to celebrate at some point on the golf course, and if I did that, it would probably be Miramichi. trying to get tee times at Miramichi, you got to plan, ladies and gentlemen. It's packed, and there's a reason why. It's beautiful. Everybody understands how good Miramichi is. Golf Week, remember, they said when you're playing golf courses in the state of Tennessee, you have to include Miramichi. And Miramichi's easy to get to. Some folks think, okay, it's way out there in north. It's 10 minutes north of downtown. That's really all it is. It's in Woodstock. It is 7,400 yards of championship golf on 330 acres of natural beauty. And every time you play, the golf cart and range balls, they're all included in your round. And the great thing is not only do they have the range balls that you can hit, they have practice facilities, and there's 3 different areas where you can really work on your game. It's as good as any country club practice facility. It's the best public practice facility by far from anybody. And then there's the terrace, 10,000 square foot outpost that overlooks the golf course with the ponds and the lush vegetation. It's the best, I think, seen in all of Shelby County, and there's a full-service bar there with food. You just can't beat the whole Miramichi experience. And if you're a senior and you're playing today, it's $33, including the cart and the balls, the golf ball range. It's just fantastic. And on the weekends, it's as low as $55 for everybody. All you got to do is get there. I promise you, you will love your experience at Miramichi. We take a quick break, and back to the Grizzlies we go with the real expert, our insider, the television voice of those Grizzlies. That is Pete Pranica, and he is next.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique, fun bet types like same-game parlay, and exclusive, always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boost on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure to sign up with promo code CASH so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code CASH. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Back pain, muscle spasms, bulging or herniated disc, shooting hip and leg pain with tingling in the feet? Mid-South Wellness and Neuropathy Center has the answers with their advanced machine called spinal decompression. This spinal decompression machine has saved their patients from addictive pain meds and back surgery. Let Mid-South Wellness Neuropathy Center get you back to playing golf and getting restful sleep again. Located in the heart of the city in Eastgate at Park and White Station, Mid-South Wellness Neuropathy Center is easy to visit. Give them a call today and ask for the Johnny Harden Decompression VIP deal and save 40%. Call 901-495-2320 and again ask for the Johnny Harden VIP deal at Mid-South Wellness Neuropathy Center. 901-495-2320. Call today and feel better tomorrow. Mid-South Wellness Neuropathy Center, the answer to your pain.
For years, I have talked to you about James Davis, the finest men's store in all of Memphis, the service, the selection, everything that goes with quality. And I've told you recently about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. Well, now there's the Stant Perfect Fit pants. Absolutely amazing. Only 2 measurements fed into a computer, and all of a sudden, you've got the perfect fit pants. I'm talking everywhere. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to fit your body absolutely perfectly. And there's 80 different fabrics to choose from. You will find the right look, the right fit, almost instantaneously. They start at $162, but you will never find a better pair of pants than these at James Davis Men's Store. And the shirts are still there, and guess what? It's the only place in Memphis that you can find Stant. That's the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I love those Troy 5-Ash commercials. Troy 5-Ash and Sheldon Rosengarten are the greatest two local sponsors that do their own commercials. They are. They're just absolutely fantastic. Speaking of local, what's the taste that everybody knows, that everybody clamors for, that is all Memphis? Well, that's Dinstall's. Dinstall's, if you have their strawberries, you can still get those, and that'll happen all the way through summer. That is signature. Nobody makes chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant that no one knows what's in it, but it breaks down the strawberries, makes them even sweeter. I mean, it's the greatest thing ever. Nobody does it like Dinstall's. Nobody does Cashew Crunch. That's maybe their signature. The turtle, that's their milk chocolate is terrific. Everything is great about Dinstall's and locations. There's 5. The original where they make the candy, Pleasant View. We may be there for Mother's Day, by the way. Hopefully we're going to get out there and actually do a remote in this day and age. Then there's the new one downtown, Collierville, Germantown, and in my neighborhood in Laurelwood. So sweet, so perfect, the taste of Memphis. That is Dinstall. Speaking of an iconic part of Memphis now, that's what Pete Pranica has become. He is the voice on television for the Memphis Grizzlies. And Pete, you could say whatever you want to, long series, this and that. You had a win last night. You couldn't go down love 2 and go to Minnesota and expect to win the series. And the Grizzlies, in my mind, did it the way they've done it all year. Great depth, great defense, and John Morant.
Yeah, absolutely. Iconic. Dave, have you hit your head? Are you suffering from some...
No, Pete, you've become... How many years have you done this now?
18 years here. I appreciate the compliment.
Come on. Hey, and people had to watch you last night because you guys blocked out the NBA TV.
It wasn't us. The NBA has blackout rules that I can't understand, don't care to understand, can't explain. But getting back to the game at hand, yeah, I mean, it was, look, the Grizzlies played the way they know how to play and the way that they have to play. I really thought, Dave, they came out in game 1 way, way too juiced up and missed shots normally they would make. Minnesota was in a good rhythm. They had come off a fabulous fourth quarter, coming from double digits down to beat the Clippers in the play-in game. So they were playing with a lot of confidence. And the Grizzlies, I thought, were too amped up, too tight, whatever you want to say, much more relaxed, much better attention to detail to the defensive game plan. And that really is a blueprint. If the Grizzlies can replicate what they do in game 2, then they're in good shape. They just can't go back to how they were in game 1, or otherwise then it becomes a long series, and you are at risk of being upset.
Well, they did just a brilliant job, is the best way I can put it, on their big 3. I mean, Edwards, 5 turnovers. He looked very pedestrian. And Russell hasn't done much in this series yet, and you can I guess Brooks and Bain and throw in Melton, and they've stymied him, and he played really well in the regular season series. And then Karl Anthony Towns, who got a taste of his own medicine from Xavier Tillman. And what I thought was interesting is after the game, Chris Finch, the Timberwolves coach, sort of intonated that the early foul trouble was a lucky thing for Taylor Jenkins and the Grizzlies because he had to insert Tillman. We found out that Tillman was told at practice the day before that he could be used, but the early foul trouble on Adams did sort of dictate the need for putting him in, and that was very fortunate.
Well, and also fouls to Brandon Clark. So
yeah,
it was a double whammy. But I think people who have observed this team realize that Steven Adams is not the best matchup in the world for Karl Anthony Towns because Towns will shoot it out to the 3-point line at better than 40%. So you need to have somebody who's a little bit more mobile than Steven Adams is. And as great as Steven Adams has been for this team this year, this is not a good matchup for him. And so, Taylor Jenkins was asked, what are you going to do about your rotations? You're going to tighten them? You're going to, loosen them? He said, I will go where I need to go with my rotations to win a game. And that involves Xavier Tillman. And I'm just incredibly proud of X, who has stayed ready, has worked hard. When the Grizzlies rested guys late in the season, he came in and he was productive. And it speaks to the depth of this team. And, they're going to need that going forward. And it'll be interesting to see how the rotations work out going forward. Does Steven Adams start game 3, or do the Grizzlies go in another direction? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, the one thing and Taylor Jenkins opened up about this at his post-game was, he's going to be forthright with these guys. He does not, he's not rude about it, and he was almost apologetic to Steven Adams, but he's got to do what he's got to do, but he's always upfront and explains what's going on. I'd be surprised if Adams started next game, but I don't know who will start, because I was honestly surprised he did not start either Brandon Clark or Tillman to start the second half. He starts Kyle Anderson, and they go on a 17-4 run to begin the third quarter, and really that was the game.
Yeah, and maybe what it is you keep throwing curveballs at Chris Finch and the Timberwolves and see how they respond. It's still a feeling out process, and Kyle Anderson can guard some fours. Obviously, he's going to give up a little bit of size, but he's got exceptionally long arms for his body type. So, the Grizzlies will be as creative as they need to be. It's all about getting wins. It's not about trying to make people happy or trying to get guys certain numbers of minutes or touches. And this has been an incredibly unselfish basketball team, and they're going to have to be that way to win this series.
So the Grizzlies made a couple of adjustments and played well, and that bench had 60 points. I mean, they are deeper, I think, than the Timberwolves. What do you think Chris Finch now counters with the Timberwolves as they head to the Target Center and their home?
Well, I think you've got to get D'Angelo Russell on track offensively. The last time the Grizzlies were in that building, Russell went for 38, 39 points, big fourth quarter. He's not giving them much. So I think you've got to get him going. I think you've got to get Karl Anthony Towns mentally back in the game. And, he made shots early in game 1, didn't pick up fouls early in game 1. Anthony Edwards hit shots early game 1. Didn't happen. Minnesota needs to get off to a better start. They are a rhythm team. When Edwards hits his first couple of shots, he really gets rolling. When he starts missing his first few shots, then he tends to go the other way. And you saw the frustration from Karl Anthony Towns yesterday, which I talked to a podcaster in Minnesota, and I said, fill in the blank. Minnesota wins this series if, and the fill in the blank was if Karl Anthony Towns shows up. He showed up in game 1, did not show up last night, and I think he's the key to the series. As good as Edwards is, as good as Russell is, if Towns is dominant, you're gonna have a rough ride against Minnesota. And the Grizzlies did a very good job against him. It frustrated him, got under his skin, took a couple of what I thought were borderline cheap shots on Grizzlies players. So they got into his head a little bit. And so if you're Minnesota, mentally you have to regroup and realize this could be a long series, and just because you got one game in Memphis doesn't mean you won the series.
I thought Tillman gave him a little taste of his own medicine too with the physicality. So that is really going to be fun to watch how they deal with Karl Anthony Towns for sure. All right, last thing, because I was at the game, I did not get to hear you two, you and Brevin. What were you saying in that first quarter, which went on and on and on? 32 free throws. What was it? 42 minutes. I mean, it was crazy. I thought everybody was going to foul out.
Yeah, it was a tough start. Look, you have to adjust. And I know Zach Zarba really well. He had the Brooklyn game 1 that also had a million fouls because they were trying to take control of the game early.
Right.
And make sure that it did not get to a situation where it was going to get rough. And you had the early tech on Beverly, okay, the foul, and then swipes at Ja. So immediately you have to set a tone and say, we're not going to put up with any of this stuff. Well, the players got to recalibrate. If the referees aren't going to change how they're calling the game, they're going to call the game the way they're going to call the game. And I am sure that Zach Zarba did not want to let this game get out of control. So they probably called maybe a few more touch fouls than people would have liked, and it did disrupt the flow of the game. But you know what? The players adapted, and the rest of the game went on perfectly fine. It's incumbent on the players to adapt. Some referees are going to let things, maybe some of the nickel-dimers go a little bit, but I think they wanted to set a tone. Look, these are two physical teams. This is going to be crazy emotional atmosphere. Let's not let it get out of hand. And I think the early tech by Beverly was a signal like, whoa, we need to make sure this thing doesn't get out of hand early. And so what we said on the air was, okay, this is the way they're calling it. You're the players. You got to adjust. And the other thing, too, is Grizzlies were a little lax defensively, reaching, grabbing unnecessarily. It wasn't like there were bad foul calls. They were fouls.
Yeah.
And there was an element of physicality, and the Grizzlies, again, got a little lazy defensively, playing more with their hands and reaching and grabbing when they really didn't need to.
Safe travels. I know we'll talk to you at some point next week. What's your favorite restaurant in Minneapolis?
Really, we haven't gone too far. We haven't gone too far from the hotel because normally it's closed. It's cold. My sister lives in Twin Cities. I like to go to the Tavern on Grand and get some walleye.
Ooh, sounds good.
There's a little bar down the street called the Loon Cafe, and even though Brevin hates it, they've got a great grilled cheese and chili. So that might be a stop. So we'll get a chance to. It'll be an extended visit in Minneapolis, which we've never had. Enjoy.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Pete Pranica, the TV voice of the Grizzlies, brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and that famous tune-up. You know why you have to have a tune-up, right? To save money on your MLGW bill, because it becomes efficient. But it also saves the longevity of your system. It makes it last longer. You do it twice a year. Once for heat, once now for air conditioning. They'll check your free on 2. All you got to do is call 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Have a great day, everybody.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis.